Hey guys, what is up? Today I will be VOD reviewing the first 15 minutes of the CGC scrims that we had the other day. A couple things to note about this is that it's the first time Flex picking Camille into the jungle, so we will be looking a lot at the jungle pathing in the early game, as well as a substitute in the AD carry position. He pops off this game actually, so we're going to go to double speed and we'll start this up as soon as we can. We'll go 4 times speed. Then we'll slow it down as we get there. So it looks like we're going to have a stack here. We have Thresh. Okay, we end up getting a flash, so that's pretty good. The stack does once 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 the flash is gone, you can pretty much already assume that there's a ward here and that everybody has left this vicinity. You don't necessarily have to guess this, although this is definitely a possibility. But you should definitely know that that's warded, and you should just recall and reset. Instead, it looks like you're gonna walk into this. It's actually really good pathing. So it's a red start. So here, since it's a red start, it should probably be red, blue, Gromp into this, or red, blue into Scuttle Crab. That's the safest with Camille because you do take a lot of damage early, um, and you just want to get your Hunter's Talisman as fast as possible so that your clear is better. Also, on another note, if you didn't, I'm not sure if you did this, but if you just leveled up E, you had a chance to do it here, get an extra flash. But you got the flash anyway, so it's not a big deal. Alright, so you pop a pot, you get that. You go red to this scuttle, which isn't there for 10 seconds, so you actually... Alright, you get a ward down. That's a good E. Not too fond of that, because you know that they're going to start that side. That your bottom lane should tell you. So here's the fight. Alright, so your passive already popped. He already popped his Q, he's reloading. You absolutely blast him. By that time, it's over. Instead, your mid dies. And you almost die. So, actually, let's go back and let's watch that in, yeah, regular motion. Let's back up another step. Okay, so I didn't really like this too much. I feel like you could have just traded sides of the map. You have kill pressure in every single lane. Top lane's actually really easy to gank with Malphite into Swain. Um, mid lane's just kind of a, you should have taken barrier, but this mid lane's just kind of a play safe lane, try to sustain and play team fights better. Bot lane has a lot of kill pressure because it's a playmaking support into a squishy support and in a mobile AD carry. So you guys have a lot of tools to play with, especially with Camille being so strong with her E. So I would have liked red to blue to this. Maybe make a play bot lane because you know that their support has no ward. She used it right here. Um, their AD doesn't have a ward, but they can't cover both entrances. So as long as your bot lane tells you where that ward's going to be, it's not a huge deal. But instead, you try to make a play for the Scuttle Crab. This happened game 1 as well. Alright, you make a play. You get huge chunks off, which is good, but you don't have to keep fighting here. No reason to keep walking. Mid lane doesn't have priority. They should definitely be saying that. Instead, that's 2 flashes there. 3. Okay. And then there's a flash because of an overstay mid lane, and then you pretty much lose out on a lot there. You don't end up dying, but they end up chasing for a while. So that's a recall. That's 700 gold on the mid laner. 7 to 8 CS. Your mid lane's kind of boned now. You get a recall off. You have 200 gold, so you can basically only get a potion. You end up not buying anything and saving, which is fine. So now your play is to just clear your bot side into Scuttle and help get control of this side of the map. Swain can play fine into this because pre-6 there's pretty much no gank assist besides his Q. Um, hovering around mid lane wouldn't be bad, but you're already on this side of the map, so helping ward here, helping get some wards in here, here, which means like actually a pink ward wouldn't have been bad on this base. But yeah, just clearing this side, which you have a smite, you might even have 2. Looks like you only have 1, but or it looks like you do have 2. Okay, so you don't go for blue buff, you go straight here. Which you know Graves has to go to his red as well. So I guess it's fine that you do that. So you get that scuttle for vision. You should really tell your mid laner to push in and then get vision. Alright, so just a play down in the bot lane. Ends up being a 2 for 1 because Jehupi doesn't back correctly. But you do clear the blue side. You have you used your smite on the blue. You should hit level 3 here. Yes, you do. And then you go to defend. But you're down a level. and you're down 11 CS. Which on Camille, if you're down CS, it's not as bad, but it's still bad that you had such a terrible start. So you do go to Wolves. You end up doing what I do, what I told you, or what I'm saying right now, excuse me, but it ends up being backwards. I feel like blue, you could have gone blue this, Gromp Wolves, or blue Gromp done this, helped your bot lane get some vision. That puts pressure so they don't go for this all in here without you, and all of a sudden it's a 3v2, and maybe you can get 2 kills for 1 or some, or 2 kills for none even. And then you have vision probably here or here. You have here. You still have your pink if you bought a pink on your first base. You have a ward right here from your mid laner, and all of a sudden, this whole side is safe for the next 3 minutes or a minute because of trinkets. So that's very interesting. I feel like that would have been the most optimal play. Alright, so you clear that side. Let's double speed. So now you're walking down. Go for a play on mid. No, you just recall. Let's see what you have. You have 900 gold. So enough for your smite upgrade and boots, which I feel like boots are really underrated on Camille. You know, you really want to get to that red smite. Sometimes you really want to get the Tiamat. You end up getting plowed there. Oh, okay. Actually, let's rewatch this because there's an optimal way to clear these, where it's Q. You can stun over the wall and then Q. You want to W to all hit them and then Q these. You want to hit these first. You don't have smite for, let's go ahead and say about 15 seconds, 10 seconds. So you want to hit these first, and then if you run low on health, you can smite it. This has like this has no HP, so it's really easy to kill, especially if you use smite on it. But these are really low if you use the W optimally. Looks like you don't hit them all, so you don't hit them all with the outside, so you kind of just get fucked there, and you have to turn around. Okay, let's record. All right, so you end up getting double longsword boots, which is fine if you're going for trading, but at this point, you're trying to just catch up. So I feel like red smite would be better to help you clear, because now you're down 12 CS, which is 3 camps. Your red buff's spawning soon, Scuttle Crab is up, and so you know that they're on top of that. Instead, you go for a bot lane play. Jahoopy's gonna die, it looks like. Okay, the heal comes out, the W. So you need to take that lantern into a combo, or just completely back out once you see this teleport. Oh. Instead, it just gets you killed. So that's a mechanical misplay right there. I don't know if it's just calling. I feel like Jahoopy should be more forward if he's going for those plays. Alright, so he uses Hex Flash. So I don't think that's really your fault. Early laning wise, we already saw the mess up in mid lane for first flood. Bot lane is having a little bit of trouble in the 2v2. I don't know, I just want to watch here. So here's your pathing. Wait, actually, let's go back 15 seconds where you die. You lose your entire right side by dying bot lane and not showing. So now you're down even more CS. You're actually down double CS. You only have Gromp to your name, and now the jungle has the enemy jungler has the top side completely in control because he knows that all these camps are gone, and they have double pinks, and they have a ward here, and they have Scuttle Crab. Meanwhile, after you died the first time, or not died, but after you backed the first time, you should have done the clear that I saw, and then had all this warded with your bot lane and your mid laner. So you should have opposite sides in control, which and for this side, for Graves' side, is good for them because he can play safe now. He should be getting poked out, but it looks like a bit of misplay. Swain misses a lot of W's in this game, and E's if I remember correctly. So this is just good for them because he can play safe. Meanwhile, this right here is good for you guys because you can make a lot of good plays with your Thresh and your Ezreal and your Camille. And even your Orianna can roam down. But instead they have control of both sides vision-wise, and you have no camps to your name, and you're down 2 levels. Alright, so gank mid lane. The pressure because we have no vision on either side. He has to just play safe, so when he overextends, he just dies for free. Let's double speed this. Basically, you're just clearing camps, which you should have a lot more pressure. But that first blood mess up really messed, and then the inability to know how to clear and get vision on after that first blood pretty much bones you for the entire game. So play on mid, or bot side, sorry. You end up getting a kill. That second kill was thanks to you, and you end up actually getting it. So that's actually really good for you. Pushing in is smart here. Top lane goes in and dies. Let's go back and watch that. Alright, you get caught warding in the river, which is hard because you need to ward, but you don't have the help because your whole right side, or both sides are controlled by them. So now you're basically stuck to the turret. I feel like you should have held that E until they tried to dive you, but it's fine. Okay, he has ulti anyway, so you pretty much you're guaranteed to just die. So there's that. Okay, with this jungle knowledge, you should go in with your support. Your support should be with you right now. He has a ward. He has 2 wards because his thing leveled up. He should be warding while you get red buff. He should actually be helping you get red buff because your clear isn't as good and you do need help. You'll have to smite it when it comes up. They trade kills because of a big dive. Alright, so let's go ahead and double speed this up. Okay, so you finally hit level 6 at 9 minutes, which is really bad for you guys. You're down 1,000 gold. You still have no red smite, which is bad because you want to be able to fight. And I feel like a 9-minute Tiamat isn't very good, so you might as well have just gotten red smite. Alright, so you skip your blue and trade for a bot lane gank, but they see you on a pink. You need to make sure you're walking through every ward brush, or every brush that can be warded. So now we're 10 minutes in. You have very little impact. You have 1 KP on a kill that you actually did a lot of the damage on, but bot lane didn't need you because they ended up winning that 2v2. Okay, so this is good. I like this. The ability to give vision. You should have someone hovering. Jahoopy's doing a good job there and helping out. You don't have to smite that. Now you're down a smite stack. Something important about smite stacks is that you have 2, and he will also have 2. So, like, especially since he has red smite, now that he has 1 and you don't have red smite, so I guess it doesn't mean as much. But whenever you're contesting objective, you always have a smite up, which means that you can always smite the camp up. Or if you have red smite, you can always smite the enemy and get a good trade in. So it's important to keep track of your smites. Make sure that you always have one every time you're going to invade. You don't need to use it there because you have Jahoopy's help, unless Graves comes to steal, because you know that he does have smite. You should always assume that he has smite, at least. Wow, this was a cool play. That was actually really cool. That was a good call by Jahoopy. You end up dying, though. One of you ends up dying. Ends up taking a fucking arrow to the face. So now you're really hesitant because this camp is hard to clear. You end up clearing half of it because you have no smite from Raptors. And now you lose Drake because you're like really low. And he solos it. Israel dies in the 2v1. Oh, Israel trades. And now this turret's pretty much gone. So we're approaching 15 minutes here, and I don't want to go much farther because I have to talk about top lane and mid lane in the game as well. But something to note is that first recall right there, you should have grabbed vision because now you're lacking in vision. You have this and you have this, which isn't very useful, and you have this, which it's really bad. Oh, you have this as well. So Jahoopy's done a good job of warding now, but in the early game, when you had no pressure, when you're supposed to have the most pressure, you didn't have many wards. So you need warding like this all the time, and you had an opportunity to do it earlier. All right, you guys get pounded here. All right, so I think we do lose this turret. All right, so we'll see what your next play is. At this moment, basically, all you can do is come help out your top lane, your top side, because your entire jungle is gone. I feel like you need to block a few more of those Graves auto attacks because, you know, he does have a shotgun and he can't shoot behind you. It would have been important to do that and possibly keep Orianna alive. But that's the first 15 minutes of the game for them. I'm going to watch it through top side now for Reformed's sake. Okay, so huge weird freeze there. That's good poke. Basically, you want to manage your mana here. Let's slow it down. You want to manage your mana when you're here. He can't really trade. He took Grasp. So if he wanted to trade with you, he would have taken Comet and he would have just tried to spam Q. You would have maxed Q and spammed it to try to balance the trading out in the lane. But instead, he took Grasp for survivability, which is weird because you can't really do anything. You should always pull to get the extra health back no matter what. But now you're low on mana, so what did you take? You took Doran's Ring. Mana Flow Band, probably best here. You might want to back early, get a Dark Seal, because in just a regular game, you know, the potions help, or a Corrupting Pot. The bonus potion, potionage, I should say, the bonus healing and mana regeneration on the potions from Dark Seal is really good for you. But yeah, basically you just want to make sure that you're constantly keeping pressure, but you're managing your mana. So every time he goes up for a CS, you should be auto-attacking, and every time you can clear the backline, like that's an auto there, sorry. And every time you can clear the backline minions, you should be using your E to kill the minions and deal damage to him. You shouldn't be doing this. This is a waste of mana, because for one, you missed the second half, so you only got the initial part and the Scorch off, and now you're out of mana. So at 4 minutes, you got to back and use your teleport, which you could be saving. Which I actually don't mind at early TP. But you haven't used any potions, so it's going to be interesting to what you get. It might be a mana crystal. It looks like nothing, though. Okay, now you did buy a mana crystal on the pink board. So now your mana's a little bit better. That should have been more placed over here, but it's fine. You want to try to like not put it like right in the middle of them because they can run away. You want to try to predict where they're going to be walking, or force their hand by walking forward and making them walk into it for extra damage. So basically, with the way the game is right now, with the 1k gold lead, their jungler's absolutely set to run train on the game because of the earlier contingencies that I told you when I was watching the jungle path. You practically want to be the only thing that keeps your, like, you practically want to be the lane that keeps pressure. You want to keep safe pressure by not not dying, but you want to be able to set up a freeze right here. So tank this, just like you do an alright job of it. Now you hit the Q. Never Q the minions, because that ends up like your freeze is now a lot worse than it used to be. So instead of it staying right here and making him back to back and TP and possibly have to overextend, which you can get more poke off, and now is a little bit farther, a little bit safer for him to fight and trade while getting minions. So that's just something that I learned. Like right now it looks like you're hard shoving. So he actually keeps his TP, which is a little ambitious. So he ends up missing this half a wave, I think. I don't think that reaches. God, no, it doesn't. So now it's frozen for him, and you have to push it in. And as we saw earlier, Graves gets control of this whole side once red buff respawns. So now you're pretty much screwed, because it's going to be on his side for a while, as long as he freezes. Which it looks like he's doing quite well. Take this. And all you're stuck with doing is using W and E to try to push it out. So, okay, so he does actually push it in with that. That was a big mistake in my opinion. I feel like he could have caught it like right here instead. It would have been a lot safer for him, a lot easier to gank. Instead of Swain gets to sit right here. So now you just freeze and you auto attack him whenever he comes up to auto attack. Instead of using Q a lot, so you're already almost out of mana. You're not managing your mana very well. Pull him, but now you Q, and now you have no mana for anything else. So let's speed up, because now you have to recall and walk back, which ends up being okay, because theoretically you could have gotten dove. Sorry. So there's a TP play there. So it's actually frozen, which is actually good for you, because it's slightly pushing in his favor. Wow, you barely missed him. But now look at the control. You have this one pink here, but he has 1, 2, 3, 4 wards here. The possibility of a mid lane ward, no, it's gone. But he actually does have a ward for the pixel brush, or here, or here, or here, or here, without getting any knowledge from here. Because if he walks through here, you can't see through here. So basically, all you have is this one little triangle ward that you got, which doesn't show much. It should be like right here-ish, because then you can see inside of the pit and a little bit more on the edges. But now you have no control, and you're hard pushing right now, so you're basically doomed to die in about a minute to 40 to a minute 30. Whenever Malphite's ulti comes back up, which is a minute, you should be dead, because you're hard pushing, and you're not managing your mana well. And this all stems from the beginning of the game. It's not like, oh, I had to recall, it was going to push anyway because the way it was going. it comes from not managing your mana well, and the early waves that you're pushing before your second recall pretty much like fucks it up. See? Alright, so you go for a ward here. Yeah, you're pretty much doomed for... You're pretty much, like, dead. And flash ulti. I feel like Malphite could have ultied earlier, but he didn't. Now mid lane's boned. Ends up being a trade kill, so that's actually pretty good for Orianna because you do the shutdown gold. But now you're up. You're down 200 gold. You're up 11 CS, which is good. And this is another thing that I didn't notice. Roa, I don't think you need to get Roa. I think that Abyssal Mask is better for not only laning against Malphite, but it can potentially be good against Lulu and Ashe as well. They do have a lot of magic, or like AD, so Mask into Tabbies wouldn't be terrible because you want to be able to sustain, and you know that they're going to build Grievous Wounds in the mid to late game to stop you. So that's just something that I would have worked on because it actually does boost your damage on your E and your Q and your ulti with the Abyssal Mask aura. Okay, so you push here, which I would have froze, and you're just pushing, you're wasting your mana and you're pushing. But you have Catalyst, so your mana doesn't take as much of a beating anymore, but you're still just hard pushing, and you're not able to abuse Malphite in the way that you should be. And so you end up actually getting some pretty okay skill shots off. You didn't miss as many as I thought you did, but it's not great. Also, let's see how many stacks you have. You should keep 2 in case he builds banner, but 1 is fine. So as long as you don't use that one, you should be okay. If I were him, I would have built banner because, you know, Ezreal's slight magic damage if he builds double tier, Orianna and Swain. But that's totally not my team, so I'm not really worried about that. If I did something weird here where he tried to bunch the minions up, but he missed one. So it actually ends up a little bit towards his lane, and he has priority because you have 1 ward. Camille has 2. You should definitely be asking for wards because you're easy to abuse. You do not have flash, and Malphite has ulti, and you're not prepping the wards right, or the waves right. Excuse me. It's a good kill on mid lane. I didn't mean for that to swap. Good poke off. Ulti not completely useful because you just don't do any damage yet. I would use it to clear the wave, and then I'd reset. Go ahead and ulti. And then Q. And then just recall. And you actually should have Roa, which feels pretty good. Again, Mask would be better, but Roa, obviously a power spike on its own. So at 12 minutes, you have Roa. Let's see what you can do with it for the next couple of minutes, and then I'll cut the VOD. You also haven't made any plays towards mid or bot lane, which bot lane has been heavy, has been laid under siege heavily. So that's something you need to look at because Swain actually does have some good skirmish potential with the ulti and the E's, obviously. One of the best things about him when he was really broken was his skirmishing potential. Something good to watch would be Febvin playing against TSM in the quarterfinals. I think he did a really good job about playing 2v2 and 3v3 skirmishes near the mid lane. Yeah, you're just hard shoving, and then you're not getting anything. If you're going to hard shove, you got to roam. But instead it's another recall. You get boots. It's not even a recall. It should be a complete reset and lane swap, to be honest. Because, honestly, you guys both should just die here. No, it ends up being one of you, but it could have possibly been both. So, something to take from this is to just make sure that you're prepping your wave correctly. Make sure you're managing your minions correctly. When it's melee versus range, you should be auto-attacking every time they walk up to auto-attack a minion, because they cannot trade with you unless Malphite uses Q in this instance, in which you can use E, you can use Q as well to poke back. Let's make sure that if you are shoving, you try to make a roam out of it. You shouldn't just be shoving and then sitting there wasting your time. You should be recalling, warding, roaming in some fashion. Let's make sure you're optimally building. Roa, not bad, but I feel like Mask would just be better in this instance. Other than that, that's all I got for today. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.